Have you ever wondered what it really takes to become a business intelligence developer? Well, we're going to break down a 120-day roadmap that shows you the exact path, step by step. So let's just dive right in. So you want to build a career in data, right? But maybe you're looking around and you're not quite sure where to even begin. It can feel, a little overwhelming with all the buzzwords and the different technologies out there. Well, you are definitely in the right place. What we have here is a full 120-day plan, a real guide that's designed to take you from someone who's just interested in data to a job-ready BI professional. All right, so before we start any journey, we've got to know where we're headed. So, first things first, what in the world is business intelligence anyway? Okay, at its heart, BI is pretty simple. It's the process of taking all this raw data and turning it into something actually useful. And the key phrase here, the thing you have to remember, is actionable information. It's not just about making pretty charts. It's about giving someone an insight they can use to make a real-world business decision. Like, where should we open our next store? Or which one of our marketing campaigns is actually working? And this image right here, it really shows you the whole ecosystem. See, BI isn't just one thing. It's this whole combination of tools and processes. Everything from the data warehouse that stores all the information to the analytics and reporting that bring those key insights to life. Okay, so we've defined our destination. Now it's time to get our gear together, to gather our essential tools. This is where we build our technical foundation. And look, that foundation, it's built on two non-negotiable pillars. First, you've got to master SQL. It's the language you use to talk to databases. And then you have to master Excel. And I'm not just talking about spreadsheets. It's an incredibly powerful sandbox for analysis and modeling. And when I say master SQL, I mean really going beyond those simple select from where queries. We're talking about learning advanced tools like window functions, which let you do cool things like calculate running totals, and common table expressions, or CTEs, which help you take these huge, messy queries and break them down into clean, logical steps. Honestly, this is what separates the beginners from the pros. And it's the same deal with Excel. We're talking about using its most powerful features. Power Query is an absolute game changer for cleaning and transforming data. And learning how to build data models with star schemas right there in Excel, that is a crucial skill for any analyst. All right, so our core tools are sharp and ready. Now it's time to zoom out a bit. Let's look at the big picture, the grand architecture of the BI machine itself. This is the system that stores and organizes all that data. The absolute best way to think about this is like you're building a library. You can't just dump all your data in a pile, right? Data modeling, that's your architectural blueprint for the library. The data warehouse, that's the actual building, structured so people can find things easily. And ETL, which stands for extract, transform, load, that's the whole process of getting the books, cataloging them, and putting them on exactly the right shelves. Now, when you're designing that warehouse, there are really two big schools of thought. Kimball's approach is kind of like building individual, specialized library wings first. It's super fast and great for specific reports. Inman's way is more about building the entire library foundation first to make sure everything is perfectly consistent across the whole organization. Both have their pros and cons. We've built the foundation, we've built the structure, and now for the payoff. This is the fun part. This is where we finally get to see the view from the summit and turn all that hard work into something people can actually see and use. Because look, all that heavy lifting we just talked about, the data modeling, the ETL, it's all for nothing if you can't communicate what you've found. This is where tools like Power BI and Tableau become your canvas. This is where you transform all those boring rows of numbers into a compelling story, a visual narrative that actually makes people want to take action. Now, inside Power BI, you're going to run into a language called DAX. It sounds a little intimidating, but don't worry. Just think of it this way. If SQL is how you talk to your data, DAX is how you teach your data to speak for itself. It lets you create these really powerful calculations that answer complex business questions. So, there you are. You've mastered the core skills, you can build incredible reports. So is the journey over? Haha, not even close. Reaching the summit just shows you a whole new range of mountains to go explore. So let's just take a quick peek at the exciting frontier of data analytics. These are the skills that are going to define the next phase of your career. The world of data never, ever stands still. The next adventure is moving into the cloud with platforms like Snowflake or Azure, learning how to handle absolutely massive data sets with tech like Spark, and even weaving predictive insights from machine learning right into your reports. The learning never stops, but man, the opportunities are huge. Okay, now we're at what is arguably the most important part of this whole journey. Because being a great BI developer, it's about so much more than just mastering the technology. You have to commit to being a lifelong learner. That means you're actively staying up to date, following industry blogs, jumping into communities online, and, this one's critical, you are building a public portfolio that actually shows off your skills. That is how you prove what you can do. Your technical skills, they'll get you in the door, but it's your soft skills that will decide how high you climb. Can you tell a compelling story with data? Can you explain your complex findings to a manager who isn't a tech person? Can you actually understand the business context behind the numbers? These skills, these are what create real value. These are what get you promoted. And underneath all of this is your mindset. You have to cultivate a growth mindset. You've got to embrace that. See every single challenge as a chance to learn something new. Actively ask for feedback, even when it's tough to hear. Because every error message is a lesson, and every failed query is just another step towards becoming a master. So that's the roadmap. It's a 120-day journey from the absolute fundamentals all the way to the frontier of data. The path is laid out right in front of you. The only thing left to do now is take that first step. So stop dreaming and start doing.